Welcome guys, this second session of fiber optics and networks. We are dealing with the module 5 and welcome to this second session. So just we brief about and continue with what I covered in the last session or video, that is optical network node and switching elements we covered there. There we came across how one single node, optical node, is acting like either a demultiplexer as shown in the figure A or multiplexer as in B, or optical add drop multiplexer where single wavelength, particular wavelength can be added or dropped, or a switching element where a typecasting is happening between the different wavelengths. By that you will be able to get either odd or even pattern wavelengths, or you can say the higher version of OADM where we are able to add and drop more than one wavelength at a time, that is a reconfigurable OADM. But the problem what we got here with ROADM is that it is not supporting mesh topology. So that's why we gone for replacing the optical switch with optical cross connect here. So here you can see. So this optical cross connect, as you have seen here, it is going to provide you the interchangeable wavelengths between the input and output ports, allowing the optical to electronic conversion or electronic to optical conversion, and also allowing optical wavelength converters. So because of these extended uses of optical cross connect compared to switch, so this one is going to be the backbone. The later we are going to study OXCs are going to be a very important, or you can say integral part, becomes an integral part in the long haul part of the public switch telecommunication network. So because of this, there are two variations we have seen, either physically or logically, like this one. So where in physical we can allow only one or one output at a time, whereas in logical interconnection we can allow more than one input to combine at any desired particular outputs here. So to continue with this discussion, so today we'll see the very important concept, that is wavelength division multiplexed networks. All we know what we mean by wavelength division multiplexing, where more than one wavelengths are multiplexed to form a single signal containing the optical signals of unique wavelengths, more than one wavelengths, like lambda 1 to lambda n. So like that, if you come across these networks, there are two types are there. One is a broadcast and select network, and another one is wavelength routing networks. So let us see each one of them separately. So in the broadcast and select networks, which are actually based on the star coupler here you can see star coupler is there, and on one side you have got the fixed transmitters, and on another side you got the tunable receivers are there. So what is happening here is that we are going to broadcast the signal with the different transmitters. Unique wavelengths will be broadcasted, which are then at the receiver side, which are tuned to the particular wavelength, are going to receive it. The idea here is that whatever we are going to broadcast each of these wavelengths with the different fixed transmitters which are tuned to different wavelengths, lambda 1 to lambda n, or with the help of star coupler we are able to help the tunable receivers. We are helping the tunable receivers to receive each of these. But while doing so, whatever the power you are going to broadcast here, so the name itself is telling broadcast and select. Here the power is fully broadcasted from lambda 1 to lambda 1, and by the time it will reach the receivers, it will be decayed, or we are going to lose a part of the information. So that is one drawback is there in the broadcast and select networks. So that's why it has been told broadcast message is depleted in each receiver. By the time it will receive lambda 1 as lambda 1 here, or lambda 2 as lambda 2 here, we got its strength reduced there, and it will be increasing more if the number of modes are also going to increase. This leads to wastage of transmitted power. So hence we'll go for a different technology, that is called wavelength routing networks. So the concept here is very simple. RWA is there, routing and wavelength assignment. So let's for example see here in figure A we got 5 nodes are there which are physically interconnected by these arrows here. Okay, and let us assume we have 3 optical signals with unique wavelengths, lambda 1 which is going from A to B, lambda 2 going from C to B, like that. and lambda 2 again going from B to via E to A, like that. Here if you see what we mean by this concept routing and wavelength means wavelength assignment. Here if you focus on 3 nodes A, B and C. If you see A, B and C here, focus here guys. So wavelength lambda 2 is going from C to B as input, and it will be routed by node B. Lambda 2 is routed by node B to A through E, node E, intermediate node E. That is routing. But at the same time, the node B is also going to be assigned with another wavelength, that is lambda 1 from A. This is called routing. The node B is helping in routing the lambda 2 from C to A via intermediate node E. Listen guys carefully what I am telling. Routing means the node B here is helping in routing the wavelength lambda 2 from C to A via intermediate node E, but at the same time it will also be assigned with another wavelength lambda 1 from A. This is called routing and wavelength assignment concept. Okay, so to simplify RWA, normally the people use virtual topology to describe only the enabled wavelength paths. Instead of physical path, they will show only enabled wavelength paths here. For example, if you look at A, B and C, just now we discussed lambda 2 is here and it will be routed, that has not been shown, but assigned wavelengths will be shown here. Lambda 1 is assigned to B and lambda 2 is also assigned to node B to route it through E to A, like that. So this is called virtual topology without having any physical connection here. So broadcast and select networks and wavelength routing networks, so far we have discussed. So this can be done either with the help of single hop networks or multiple hop networks with single node or many more than one intermediate nodes with one loop or more than one loop, like that. That is the meaning here. So it provides direct communication between any nodes with the data in optical domain until it reaches the destination. The whole domain is going to be optical medium only. Whereas multiple hop transmission takes place through intermediate nodes. Here more than one intermediate nodes are required, but here without any nodes also you can directly transmit directly from source to destination just with the optical domain here. That is the difference between single hop and multiple hop networks. Okay, so this is what we mean by wavelength division multiplex networks, broadcast and select and wavelength routing networks. So next, coming to this public telecommunication network. So this guys, for you to remind, this already we have studied in detail in 6th semester as elective subject digital switching systems. That is a public telecommunication network, PSTN, public switched telecommunication network. So here it mainly consists of, briefly we will see 3 parts are there here, like the long haul network, metropolitan network and access network. If you see the long haul or core network, it comprises of optical cross connectors. It consists of optical cross connectors which are playing a very important role there in long haul network, forming the long haul network using mesh topology. You can see here mesh topology is used here. A fully mesh topology is used and optical cross connectors are used to provide the interconnection between different nodes, which is ranging and providing the network range from hundreds to thousands of kilometers, which is useful in interconnecting between different continents, national communication network, and providing the connection between gateways of different countries as well. So apart from that, the long haul network also plays an important role in providing interconnection between different metropolitan networks with the help of optical to electronic conversion. Here you can see the diagram has been shown there. With the help of opto-electronic conversion, it is allowing the networking of maintenance of formation of metropolitan area networks. So here the mesh topology is used there, and here you can see the ring topology is used in metropolitan area networks. Means the metropolitan area network is formed with the interconnection between the nodes that can be done with the help of optical add-drop multiplexers. There in long haul network, optical cross connectors are used to provide the interconnection between the nodes, but whereas in metropolitan, the second level, optical add-drop multiplexers are used to provide the interconnection between the nodes following the ring topology, and this can provide with the network range up to tens of kilometers. So along with this, the metropolitan area network also useful in formation of access networks. It can range from few meters to 20 kilometers. So this access network may be a bus star or ring topology based on the requirement. The access network may be bus star or ring topology. So mainly it comprises of local exchange offices or common offices which are all connected to some remote node where your subscribers are directly coming in contact. In local exchange office, remote node is nothing but where each subscriber line is going to terminate in its line cards or trunk cards. So here millions and millions of customers are going to terminate in their respective line terminating equipments or line cards or trunk cards, where local exchange office is going to come into picture. So this is how the PSTN network is going to form. So from top down or bottom up, the telecommunication network is responsible for the real-time transmission of video, speech or media, like that. Okay. So next we'll see another concept, that is optical network transmission modes, layers and protocols. So here, but guys, up to this one I just want to brief here what we covered so far. We covered so far wavelength division multiplexed networks. That is important in this module 5. Remember, it is important. And next we covered just now PSTN network. PSTN network we covered there. Okay. So after that we are going to see another important concept, synchronous and asynchronous networks, after the discussion of this one. Okay. So the optical infrastructure should be transparent to form the optical networks. So optical signal transmission help. So what do you mean by optical transmission system? Mainly it consists of transmitters and receivers along with the optical medium, whereas electronic transmission system means it mainly consists of signal processing related work. Okay. So but here in optical transmission, each node may be acting like a it is going to process your data. So like that we basically divide this whole the discussion of optical transmission or electronic transmission into two types, nodes and network stations. Nodes are useful in interconnecting with each of them and forming the networks, whereas network stations are going to provide the interconnection between the different networks. Remember the difference between the nodes and network stations. Network is formed by the interconnection of nodes. There only the role of nodes is over. It is a limitation. They cannot come beyond the network. But once the network is formed, interconnection between the different networks is done with the help of stations. So to have reliable optical communication, optoelectronic devices or systems are required. So better use of the physical structures or transmission types, rules and protocols are required. So this makes our optical network connection easily upgradable with the new developments and following the improved service trends. In view of this one, so let us see what we mean by how such optical networks have led to the development of synchronous networks here. If you look at here in this figure here, this is existing asynchronous structure, and this also I hope we have studied in digital switching systems. There the main building block for the digital switching systems or telecom is a 24 or 30 channel PCM primary system. Okay, 24 or 30 channel PCM primary system. So here that PCM primary system is going to support up to the data rate of 2 Mbps. The data rate of 2 Mbps. Here you can see like that there are such 64 channels are there. 64 channels are there, each of 8 bit. So now what is happening here is that, so if we send each of these PCM primary multiplex group supporting 2 Mbps separately, each one will be having its own clock. Each of 64 channels will be having its own clock. Okay. Now here you can see you are trying to get from combining 4 such 2 Mbps providing PCM primary highways to provide 8 Mbps. Now such 4 8 Mbps providing PCM highways, PCM frame systems are combined to provide 34, because 8 4 size 34. Like that again 34 such PCM primary systems are combined to give you 140 or something like that. But while doing so, the problem is that when you are going to convert, when you are going to join 2 Mbps data supporting PCM frame systems, 4 you are going to combine them to support you to give 8 Mbps. Okay, so when you are going to combine them, they are not going to arrive at the same time. They are not going to arrive you at the same time. Here it is supporting 8 Mbps. Here you are getting 8 Mbps with the help of 2 Mbps here. 4 2 Mbps. Remember, here 2 8 doesn't mean that 8 we are not getting, 8 we are getting here. Is it okay? 8 we are getting here only, not here. It is just shown for, it is a notation to letting you know that, telling you that you are trying to combine 4 such PCM primary channels supporting 2 Mbps each to give you 8 Mbps. Similarly, 8 such PCM primary channels are we are trying to combine here to give you or to support 34 here. Then 4 such supporting higher next one. The problem here is that the time delay is happening here because each channel is having its own clock and they are not properly synchronized. Even though synchronized, practically it is not possible to arrive all of them at the same time. So that is called asynchronous digital hierarchy, PDH. So to solve this one, so directly what we are doing, we are trying to remove this PDS structure and going for from asynchronous to synchronous multiplexing. Directly we are multiplexing from 64 input to 1 output. 64 channels, each channel is supporting 2 Mbps, that is PCM primary channel, and output what we are getting 140. So this is what synchronous multiplexing is going to helpful for us. Here we may be using optical airdrop multiplexers or any kind of multiplexer based on the optical concepts here. So this is all about synchronous networks here. So next one is asynchronous transfer mode. So here in asynchronous transfer mode, it supports packetized multiplexing and switching technique. It is a packetized multiplexing switching technique to combine the benefits of both circuit and packet switching. Means ATM transfers the information in fixed sized cells called ATM cells, containing the information identifying the source of transmission with less data than packets. So with less data than packets is important here. Okay, so here for example, ATM is going to provide you the time slots on demand. This is very important. It is going to provide you the time slots on demand as compared to TDM with the fixed time slots. So here you can see the header is of 5 bytes. Each single byte in the header field includes different information to identify the destination, path, channel and error control codes. Okay, so problem here is that we cannot include the bits here. Bit stuffing is going to take more, it is more time consuming. That's why headers will be used along with these bits containing the different informations. So before sending ATM cell with user data, virtual connection is established for the transmission of these ATM cells. So during connection setup, each control bit 1 or 0 generates an entry in the virtual path identifier translation table to inform the destination to receive the incoming packet. So operation is very simple with respect to ATM. So normally you will get a short note on these things, synchronous or asynchronous parts here. So guys, so far we covered WDM networks, PSTN, then synchronous and asynchronous transfer, synchronous networks and asynchronous transfer mode. So next let us see the things that we already know it. You people very well know about it. Most of you are maybe doing the projects on this one. Open Systems Interconnection Reference Model, OSI model. This I am not going to cover much of this here. So as it has been shown in the picture, just I will go through this one. So here all we know it is made up of 7 layers here as it has been shown in the diagram, starting from the bottom physical layer to the top application layer. So database and network management, Database is the third layer. Second layer. Network management is a third layer, has been shown here. The physical layer is going to support the transmission in terms of bits, whereas physical, and that is a data link and network layers, where the information will exist in the form of frames and packets. So the first three layers are concerned with media layers, and rest the layers are called host layers. The top three layers are mainly concerned with the data units. So mainly the session layer is going to establish, manages, terminates the connection. That is the main response. So that's what is known as a inter-host communication, which is mainly responsible for the providing the host communication layer. Along with that, it also provides simplex or duplex operations for the connection, establishes the checkpointing, termination and restart procedures. So the transport layer here controls the reliability of specific link through flow control or segmentation or error control, for example TCP. So network layer provides functional or procedural method for transferring variable length data sequences from source to destination through one or more networks. So whereas network routing functions, segmentation, report on delivery errors is done with the help of network layer. So data link layers provides functional and procedural mechanisms to enable the transfer of data or data corrections with errors. It is the layer at which the network bridges switch to operate, connectivity provided among locally attached network nodes, layer 2 domains for unicast or broadcasting. Protocol at this level are CSMA/CD, Ethernet, and I hope all we know about this one for point-to-point or packet switched networks. So physical layer defines electrical, optical, physical media. It is going to support there. Okay. So we'll stop here.